Hey everyone, how we doing today? This is James Sweeney, aka SplitSuit, and welcome back to another video. And as part of the Ask SplitSuit a Question series, a bunch of people asked hand history questions. This one comes from Alex, and Alex just wants to know if he can ever find a good fold here. So let's check it out. Okay, so this hand is from a 1-2 live game. There's a limp, there's another limp, and another limp, and another limp, and Hero decides to complete in the small. Totally okay with that. End up going a bunch away to it. And in this situation, Hero decides to lead the flop for 12. Now, I've said in previous videos that I typically like to play my draws very, very aggressively, and when I flop draws out of the blinds, I typically tend to bet them myself. But this is a situation where I would not do that. Because if I bet, are we really going to get raised very, very often? No, I don't think a ton of the time, unless someone flopped it really, really hard. I think typically this is going to be a spot where there's a bet, there's a bunch of callers, and we go to a turn card. And if we do that, I don't think we're going to be able to do a lot of great things on turn cards. So what I'd actually prefer to see is a check raise in this situation. You check, yeah, the tight knit probably checks too, but the fish or seat 5 probably pretty likely to bet, and now all of a sudden you can get a cascade of callers that you can easily check raise and apply a ton of pressure to. Rather than bet here, and now everyone's allowed to apply pressure to you on future cards, especially the turn, which is going to be pretty difficult to figure out what to do when you brick. But as played, we end up getting a call, and another call, and another call, and we go a bunch away to the turn, which is a 5. Hero decides to fire again, and in this situation, I'm just going to get kind of right to the question because, again, I would have suggested going for the check raise on the flop, which means that the turn really never plays out like this. But as played, here's what happened. We bet 22, Nit decides to shove, Fish decides to shove, Passive Lady decides to call. Now the question comes in is, can we ever find a good fold here? So this is a pretty gross situation getting 3.6 to 1 because we don't need a ton of equity to continue profitably here. There is going to be a side pot, and if we end up improving down the river, there's going to be a second side pot against the Passive Lady for her last $60. So in this situation, I just asked myself, is there a 6 here somewhere, right? Like, am I dead somewhere? And I think almost certainly someone has a 6. I don't know who the heck has it. I don't know if it's the Nit. I don't know if it's the Fish. I don't even know if it's the Lady. I don't know who has a 6, but somebody has a 6 here. I don't think I'm just looking against ace, ace, and someone with a worse flush draw. I don't think that's happening. So in this exact situation, if we just ballpark it and use the 4-2 rule, 9 outs assuming they're all live, and in that situation, it's not looking good, and then assuming that there's some dead stuff the times that we're against, maybe a boat when we do improve to say the 5 of diamonds, that's not good for us either. So just overall, I don't expect this to be a profitable situation, and it's gross. It looks cool because you're getting a great price, but it's not quite good enough, and this is actually a good spot to find that fold button. Now, Alex said that he made the fold for a couple different reasons, but one of the ones he quoted was that he didn't want to lose his profit for the night. This would have cost him that to make the call. And I don't ever want you to make a decision based upon what it would cost you in terms of your profit or how much you're up or down for the night. Like, those are not good reasons to make this fold or any play. You make decisions based on the logic, based upon the math. And in this situation, I think your play was correct. I think your rationale was a little bit off in terms of quoting that as a reason. But like I said, I definitely like your fold as played. And if you're curious to see the result, we do end up improving, and we do end up running into a lot of different people with a 6, and even someone with a 7-6. But again, the most important points here are the flop. Should we go for the check raise, or should we go for the normal stab? And then as played, how do we react on the turn? And like I said, I really like Hero's fold. I think it's close, but not good enough for us to get in there, so I really like the fact that we had the discipline to find that fold. Just want to see better rationale in the future. So Alex, thanks for the great hand, and if you or anyone else has a poker-related hand or question, you can actually send it directly to me now at splitsuit.com/send, which redirects you to my Typeform and allows me to get all the stuff you need to send me very, very easily. Same as always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. Otherwise, good luck out there, and happy grinding.